Hey everybody, welcome to the video. It is Monday, May the 31st, 2021. If you're looking for news from Orlando and vacation stuff, you're in the right place. Headlines today, we're going to look at the usual COVID and vaccination stuff, positivity rate in Florida and in Orange County. Ireland's going to adopt the EU's COVID certificate and it will be allowing the US and UK in shortly. Will others follow? Will travel be back on, transatlantic travel, from June the 7th? That's what a couple of newspapers are saying. We'll be looking at the schedules for BA, Virgin and TUI to see when they're going to get back in the sky. Cruises are back on, confirmed from the US in early summer. Just to prove that it looks like we're getting out of the pandemic, Orlando International Airport was saying that this weekend, the Memorial Day weekend, was going to be the heaviest for traffic since the pandemic started. We're going to look at Disney, Universal and SeaWorld news, and finally the weather. Before we do that, let's have a quick look at Alfie. So here's Alfie. If you haven't seen him before, we got him about 2 months ago. He's a cross between a Mastiff and a Labrador. He's called a Mastador, I guess. He's about 35 pounds now. We got him when he was 20 pounds. Here he is. And he wants to go and have a little run around, so I'm going to let him run around. New cases in the US on Saturday was 12,661. Where is Florida, you might be asking, as we are usually in the top 3? Well, here we are. 21 states didn't report Saturday's numbers, so that 12,661 is artificially low, I'm afraid. The state said yesterday that it wouldn't be releasing data for Saturday, Sunday and Monday, the first time that more than one day has been missed. Palm Beach County, which is regularly in the top 3 counties for new cases in Florida, has said it will no longer give daily updates, so that will skew the data quite a bit as well. I can see Palm Beach County being the first of many that are going to stop giving data out daily, or in fact at all. So we're going to have to rely less and less on daily numbers of new cases from Florida and probably around the US as well. I would say that the positivity rate is now the thing that we're going to be focusing on, and the positivity rate in Florida as of Saturday is 4.5% on a 7-day moving average. This chart is from Johns Hopkins and is slightly different to the one I used last week. If fewer counties are going to be sharing their data, the positivity rate is going to be a more important metric going forward. I'll start to feature this more in my daily updates on the Hit the Theme Parks Facebook page. The positivity rate in Orange County, Florida is 4.2% as of Saturday. That's down from 4.6% last week. The 7-day moving average for cases in the US was 20,692 this week, and last week it was 26,142. That's a drop of 21%, but it does include that low number from yesterday. US active cases were 5.8 million last week and 5.6 million this week, a fall of 3.5%. The US 7-day average for deaths was 570 last week and it's 524 this week. That's a drop of 8%. As I said, I don't have the reported number of cases for Florida for Saturday as there was no report. The 7-day moving average for new cases for Florida was 2,677 last week, and that's fallen to 1,793 this week. Again, that includes no cases from Saturday, but you can see that the graph was still showing a steady decline anyway. Active cases in Florida are 341,000 this week, a 4.5% drop from last week's 357,000. The 7-day moving average for deaths in Florida was 59 last week. This week it is 44. We can expect that to move up a bit next week as the 0 recorded cases on Saturday will have some effect. The number of vaccinations distributed across the US as of Saturday was 366.3 million. Last week that was 357.3 million, so an increase of 1.5 million per day in the 6-day week. The number of vaccinations administered in the US is now 293.7 million, up from 285.7 million, so a daily average of 1.3 million per day for the 6-day week. On May the 23rd, the number of doses administered in the US was 1.83 million, and on Saturday this had fallen to 1.39 million. You can see the effect this has had on the percentage of people who have received at least one dose of vaccine. As of Friday, the US was 49.75% of the population. That's just 7% in the last month, so it looks unlikely that we're going to get to the target of 70% by July the 4th, as set by President Biden. In that chart, Israel is still top at 62.96%, the UK on 57.55%, then Canada, which has done really well recently, on 55.46%. Chile, Hungary and then the US take up the next slots. Europe as a whole still are way behind on 31.02%. Florida has stayed in 16th place for the share of people who have had at least one dose of vaccine in the states, and it stayed in 20th place for the share of people who are fully vaccinated. 50.5% of the US population has had at least one dose of vaccine as of yesterday, up from 49.2% last week. 40.7% are fully vaccinated versus 39.2% last week. Ireland has said it's going to adopt the EU's COVID-19 certificate to aid travel across the EU from July the 19th, and will broadly apply the same approach to arrivals from elsewhere, including the US and the UK. The EU certification scheme sets out which vaccines are recognised and which tests will be accepted. Ireland will allow unvaccinated children in with a negative COVID test, and unvaccinated travellers from outside the EU must also have a negative test and self-quarantine until they take a second test in Ireland. This applies to the US and the UK currently. The Sun has stated that UK Airlines are preparing for a restart of travel to the US from June the 7th. They have sources which have said that Brits will be able to travel to the US with just a negative PCR test, another before returning home, and another within 2 days of arriving back into the UK. It doesn't, however, say how long it might take from an announcement, which may or may not come on June the 7th, for the airlines to actually get back in the sky. Both BA and Virgin at the moment, I'll expand on that later, have cancelled their flights until July at the earliest. It also doesn't say if quarantine will be required on return to the UK, since another COVID test, according to them, will be required within 2 days of returning to the UK. June the 7th is a significant date because it's just 4 days before President Biden is due to meet with Prime Minister Johnson in the UK. I can't believe that an announcement would be made on June the 7th when the two guys will be there in the flesh, and they could make quite a historic announcement as to travel getting back into the skies between the US and the UK and what the requirements of that travel will be. So I don't think that June the 7th is on, just because it coincides with the green list or the amber, red and green list from the UK doesn't mean that UK citizens or people who live in the UK will be allowed back into the US on June the 7th. I think that's going to wait for June the 11th. That's still my guess. British Airways have now pulled all of their flights in June, and the first direct flights are now on July the 5th, 2021 from Heathrow and Gatwick. Virgin Atlantic are still scheduled to fly from Heathrow, Gatwick and Manchester on July the 1st. I said last week that TUI had pulled all their flights up until March 2022. That was incorrect, and I do apologise if I freaked any of you out. I did get quite a few people saying that's wrong, my holiday's still going ahead. And yes, the next day I did look at it, and in fact I was able to book flights or holidays from July. TUI are scheduled to fly from Gatwick on July the 1st and Glasgow on July the 3rd. At Orlando International Airport, they were expecting their busiest day since the pandemic started. Phil Brown, the CEO of Greater Orlando Aviation Authority, said that they are approaching 90% of pre-pandemic level passengers. Don't forget, masks are still mandated at airports and at all US flights, as well as trains and buses. Into some theme park news then, and as of just this Saturday gone past, May the 29th, masks are no longer required in any part of Universal Orlando, and social distancing has been removed. Universal's website has updated guidelines which state that guests who are not fully vaccinated are still expected to wear face coverings while indoors, but that they do not require proof of vaccinations. SeaWorld have also dropped their face mask requirements for fully vaccinated guests and ambassadors, but as at Universal, they do not require proof of vaccination. As at the release of this video, Walt Disney World has not changed its face mask policy. Face masks are still required in lines, on attractions and indoors. I do think though that Disney World will change their policy this week to be in line with both Universal and SeaWorld. Disney has released a 30-second commercial for the Walt Disney World anniversary, 50th anniversary, coming up on October the 1st. It's a 30-second video, which I've got here. There are 17 magical things in this video in 30 seconds. See if you can pick them out. Here it is now.
Magic is calling you to the Walt Disney World 50th Anniversary celebration, beginning October 1st.
Even though then I live in Orlando and can go to Disney quite often, and I'll tell you a bit more about that soon, that did actually send a tingle up my spine. That is so well made, and it actually has another meaning for me as well. Did you catch that tune? That tune was mine and Christina's first wedding dance all those years ago. So it has something special for me. Disney's Skyliner is now seating separate parties together in its gondolas. That will decrease wait times but increase awkwardness. Bob Chapek, Disney's CEO, took part in a Q&A session earlier this week. Here are some of the choice bits from that Q&A. He was asked about capacity limits. He said there would be low double-digit increases in the next few months, so not getting to 100% capacity anytime soon. He also said there would be benefits in relaxing some of the COVID guidelines towards the end of Q4 of Disney's fiscal year, which ends on September the 30th. I actually think, even though this Q&A session only happened on Monday last week, that Disney has been taken completely unawares by Universal scrapping its mask policy and its social distancing. And I do think that way before September the 30th, i.e. probably this week, Disney's going to follow suit, because if they don't, they're going to fall behind. I think we're going to see more increases in capacity in Universal and SeaWorld very, very quickly. And if Disney doesn't follow suit and those greyed out and yellows become green, they're going to lose revenue big style. Bob Chapek also brought up labour, which is a huge issue for Disney, and I think that's where the major issue is for them right now. They need to get a lot of people back to work in order to ramp up capacity, with all attractions, shows, restaurants and resorts working properly. Chapek was also asked when he thought full capacity would be achieved, and in a roundabout way he said the end of 2021. Another question was about technological improvements and efficiencies. His answer was about virtual queues, and it seems there will be more of them. Will they be instead of or in addition to fast passes though? At Universal, Ollivanders has gone back to having multiple groups at once, and you once again just line up to get in. Previous to that, you had to reserve a slot with a team member just outside the store. Universal has released its official Velocicoaster point of view ride video. It's really good actually, no wobbling about or anything. It's about 90 seconds long. Here it is now. Universal has also given us a first look at the Jurassic World tribute store. That's almost 7 minutes long, so I haven't included that video in this video, but here's a link to it here, and I'll also put a link in the description to this video. Looking then at the Walt Disney World Parks availability calendar, June is pretty awful for theme park tickets and resort guests, with just Epcot available on 6 days out of next month. Annual pass holders have a much better time of it, with quite a number of days showing green. In July, there is a lot of yellow, which basically means Hollywood Studios is at a minimum unavailable for theme park tickets and resort guests. For annual pass holders, though, it's just Magic Kingdom on July the 4th, which is unavailable. Silver pass holders, me included unfortunately, are blocked out from June the 1st through August the 5th, which is undoubtedly keeping the June and July dates green. So I am currently a silver pass holder. I did try to get that to gold so I could go through the summer and be in the parks a bit more and do some more live stuff, and they say they're not doing that yet, so we're going to have to wait for capacity to increase before I get back into Disney parks. I'm really upset about that, but there we go. August and September are green for everyone except for Magic Kingdom on September the 30th for annual pass holders. For October, the theme park tickets and resort guests will find Magic Kingdom blocked out, as well as Magic Kingdom on October the 31st. For annual pass holders, it's just Animal Kingdom available on the 1st. Everything is then available through January 2023 for everybody. Finally, the weather, and it's pretty much upper 80s for the next 2 weeks. Chances of rain increasing significantly as we get into June, as is usual. That's the news for this week. Hopefully you got something good out of that. If you did, please do give it a thumbs up. The algorithm does like the likes and it does spread the video out to more people. If you want to subscribe, I'd love you to do that. Please hit the notification bell and you'll get this stuff without any delay. I am trying to get some stuff done during the week, but I'm just incredibly busy with work right now. This isn't what I do for a living. You can tell that by the number of subscribers and the number of views per video I get. Hopefully that will increase as well, and it certainly will if you subscribe and you like them. Okay, that's it for now. Have a great week, everybody, and I'll see you next week. Cheers for now. Bye-bye.